and salutations, friends, and welcome back. We are here tonight. I'm not really quite sure where tonight is going to go, and that's okay. What I can tell you is that there have been many people dragging me into a new obsession, and that would be Twitter Spaces. And so I have been listening for some time, and tonight's guest is big into the Twitter Spaces and sort of an interesting tell it like it is character. And so I have been getting more interested in Twitter Spaces and the discussions that are being, had there. We will be forming some sort of Twitter space for many who have asked in the coming week or two. But in the meantime, I thought we could bring someone here from sort of the Twitter sphere, a man who is as equally obsessed with the alien rabbit hole as I am, and many are. Like I said, I could have spoken to him a lot off air, but I tried not to do that so that I can just bring all of you with me for an honest conversation into an honest conversation with a fellow traveler down this crazy rabbit hole. He's been down many of the same rabbit holes that I have, but has been into others as well. So we're going to bring him in here in one moment. I want to take a moment first to welcome the live chat. Chat room moderators are in place here in our live chat. We want to thank you, friends and benefactors, Patreon supporters, and channel members, and all of the people supporting the show. You have my thanks and gratitude. I spent today working on some video editing workstations. 3 of them, in fact, that we have, and 2 of them were in various states of disrepair, but the other one is humming right along and doing well. And I was able to purchase any of the parts that I need to get these things really ripping from you kind and generous benefactors. So I want to thank you. We're going to be transitioning into a lot more produced videos and documentary work. And these tools will certainly be invaluable to us. But let us get on with the conversation. And instead of me telling him a lot about you, we'll have him tell you about his background and where he got to these rabbit holes from. Welcome, UFO-Shane is here.
Hey, what's going on? You guys hear me all right?
Yeah.
I'm doing all right.
I think your mic might be, let me adjust your mic. I think it might be a little bit way loud, but
okay,
it's fine.
All right.
I got it.
Let me get my B fingers up here. Yeah, I broke the bottom of it, so I'll be old school in it for the show.
Yeah, that's fine. So I to begin, I've met you through these Twitter Spaces, which you are hosting and participating in that quite a lot. And I see, why I have avoided it is because I've got enough time sucking things in my life, and these spaces are engaging and interesting, and you're talking to like-minded people. I've been trying to kind of avoid it, but you're kind of all chips in on this Twitter Spaces thing with all these other UFO people, right?
Oh yeah, 100%, man. It's I wouldn't be who I am, or I wouldn't have any of the knowledge probably I have right now if it wasn't for the spaces and the people I've met in them. I just like everybody else. So I had something crazy happen to me that was super paranormal, undeniably paranormal. And I got into this and was like, I'm going to find out what happened to me. And then I entered ufology and I was like, oh man, the Anunnaki, whoa, the Nephilim, oh crap, whoa, oh, I'm just like this and that, oh, the secret space program, all this stuff. And I'm, then I go into a Twitter space and I'm like, hey, this guy's pretty cool. And someone's like, well, he stole a bunch of money from a bunch of kids, right? And I GoFundMe. I'm like, didn't know that. And then I'm like, hey, this guy's pretty cool, right? And they're like, hey, he like burned down 3 orphanages or whatever. And I'm like, oh, didn't know that either. And it's just like, it's intense, man. It never ends. And I've literally like Nick Pope and all that just recently found out his wife is holding back on Native American artifacts and won't give them to the people. She wants their blood tested. I didn't know that.
Yeah, wait, slow down because I have heard about this and I even verified that this is a true story. So, Pope's wife, what is she, an archaeologist or an
I think
anthropologist?
she's an anthropologist.
Anthropologist. So, she found some Native American artifacts, and then the tribe that owns those artifacts, those are their ancestors.
Right.
So basically, she's digging in Native American burial grounds, finds artifacts, and then the tribe comes to her. And by the way, I'm paraphrasing all of this, so if I'm getting it wrong, you can correct me, or
It's pretty straight
and
on.
the audience can. So she gets these Native American artifacts by digging in a Native American, I suppose, graveyard or archaeological site that belongs to them. And
Mhm.
then the tribe comes to her and they say, "You're defiling our ancestors, and those artifacts belong to us and our tribe and our ancestors. We want them back." And she will not give them.
And she said, I'm pretty much quoting here. You need to go get your blood tested and prove to me that you are of this. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
We've lived here for like 4,000 years. Like, nobody else was
she
here.
wants DNA tests before she'll give
Yeah.
up these Native American
She literally
artifacts.
works for, you got to think somebody gets an anthropology degree and you think they're going to do this to be a wholesome and try to learn about the past, and then she won't give it back to the people that she's studying. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But
Yeah,
yep.
and by the way, thank you for bringing this up because I've wanted to. I was going to sort of like do an official. I'm covering the story of this and talk to some of the Native Americans. Maybe I'll still do that. You've reminded me that this is very important. Like this
Oh, yeah.
issue to me is it's a non-issue. You know, those things belong to those Native peoples, and how dare you, for profit or for scholastic, even for scholastic, like, great, you have the artifacts. If you wanted to learn anything about their culture or the archaeology or the anthropology of that tribe, you've already had the artifacts, you've examined them, you can take pictures, you can videotape them, you can talk about them, you can put them in your books or your papers, but give them back.
Yeah,
They
give
don't
them back.
belong, they don't belong to you.
Nope.
Yeah,
But,
but this is this any surprise though? Like, her husband is selling Skype calls to people claiming that he ran a British UFO program
yeah.
that
Yeah.
he never
I
ran.
worked at a desk for 3 years. Okay.
It's so
I
bad.
went through all these programs. Okay. And his answer was, well, the United States said this. Well, yeah, but we didn't claim we had a UFO program either. You're lying. You are lying. You're lying. Like, I don't understand, man. Like, all these people, they, people are out here. This is my whole thing with grifting, since you would talk about this and we want to talk about this. So people are having these amazing spiritual moments, like Bledsoe or whatever you want to call it. But people are really having this happening to them. It happened to me. And they come to ufology for an answer, and they open the door to ufology, and the first, there's all these doors to David Wilcock, Corey Good, and they're all bullcrap. Like, they just want to sell you stuff, and they're like vampires. They're literally vampires sucking on the weak and the innocent, sucking on people. I have heard people come to my spaces and break down crying over the experience that they've had. And there are people just like that going out there and buying David Wilcock's book and thinking they're Pleiadian starships sitting above the, San Francisco, giving people mind downloads. I don't really, there's no proof to this. I want to see the receipts, but they'll
Yeah,
tell
and
you like it's solid fact.
a little known fact of some of these grifters too, but something that I am absolutely sure of, having talked to so many people, is that you're right. They're vampires, but not only are they vampires, they are preying on very vulnerable people, many of which are disabled or on Social Security, older
Oh yeah,
people. It's a
yep.
really older crowd that these people are grifting from.
You don't see 20-year-olds in here doing this. You don't see.
Yeah.
We don't have kids. Like, dude, people don't come into spaces that are under like 25 half the time. There's a few people. They're younger. They're usually like younger college women, to be honest with you. But like, you don't get a lot of younger men or just people. It's like people who have lived a rough life or just lived a life and have had stuff happen to them. And they're like, hey, I'm here. I'm stable. I want to find answers. And then they just end up giving half their Social Security check to Dave Wilcock.
Or at least $333 and getting nothing in return.
Or $1,500 to Jimmy Church and Greer for the new convention, where you get to watch them give yet another award to themselves. Like, how many Good Samaritans of the Year award do you get to give to yourself? Like, well, I was asleep, man.
This award show thing is a new grift.
It's like, new. It's
come to an award show where we're going to give an award to Linda Moulton Howe, and then what is the next one? They're going to give an award to Lou Elizondo.
Oh yeah, Probably greatest hero for the last 4 centuries.
And you can attend this very expensive dinner and get an autograph for $1,500. Are
That's
you kidding
right.
me? It's
You know what, dude,
$1,500.
If we're gonna talk about this, hold on. I need to get my Grifter 9000s on like you do.
Let's
go,
Grifter
baby.
9000s.
Let's do it. I'm done.
God.
I'm so tired of it, man. Like these people, they just come into these communities and rip people off and do everything, you know. And it's a joke, and it's not just in the UFO field; it's in the paranormal field as well with Zach Baggins.
Yeah,
a lot of those guys.
A little bit, yeah.
Talk about a dude though that has the best PR team on the planet. They're like, don't say anything, don't even look at Twitter, just keep on grifting, baby. And he's just riding the walrus, man, riding the wave.
Riding the walrus, yes. So, you know, I think you had a pretty similar experience to me where you just kind of woke up and went, all these people are lying scammer grifters. And let's be clear, I'm not saying it's every single person out there, but it's a lot of them. And the ones that make the most money, certainly, because they're willing to, you know, play fast and loose and anonymous sources and, you know.
Yeah, there are no sources. It's just like, I took a bunch of shrooms and I met, you know, Gaia in the astral, and she told me that they're coming in 2027. I'm like, all right, man, cool, I guess. Like, you know, 2027, 2026, it'll be 6 months. And Jolly's not full of shit. Let's go. Like, I don't understand, man.
Have you noticed the number of, let's just call them 3-letter agencies that are invading this thing? Or is it just me? Am I crazy when I say there's an awful lot of 3-letter agency people that are suddenly front and center in the UFO community?
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, there's going to be people from the Department of Energy coming pretty soon too, and that's the scariest probably division that no one ever thinks about. All the crazy like human technology, I don't know if it's alien, but you know, all the crazy human technology we probably have is ran by the Department of Energy. And everyone wants to think about Area 51 or this and that or Dugway. And then you got to think like, it's like Men in Black. You know, they went to a post office and then went down the elevator, right? In a post office, like it's not going to be where you think it is, whatever there is. And it's probably human tech, but you know, it's where I'm leaning now. I was leaning pretty heavy on aliens, you know. And for me, the real changing point for me, Stephen, was when I got to talk to Chris Bartell from Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, and by the way, I listen, I know I've asked you off air like a couple of times so far. You have to get me in touch with him, and we're going to bring him here and do a whole spread on everything that he has to share, because he certainly has the capability to wake quite a few people up to the whole bigger picture of the Skinwalker grift, you know?
If you need any more, like, okay, we sit here and we listen to this. I just want to get this message out here. I know a lot of people here know, but we sit here and we listen to these people talk all the time, and they have no sources. They have no credentials. They just have made it all up, and they don't want you to look into it. But if you look up Chris Bartell, every credential checks out. He was there during the Bigelow era. He's worked for Area 51. He's done the Janet detail, all that. And when a man like, I asked him, just like I asked you, Stephen, I said, how much of this is a grift, or how much of this is, you know, bullcrap? 98% at least. He's like 2% of it is anomalous. It's phenomenon. He's like, the rest of it's just all people just making money off of everybody. And I'm like, okay, I believe you, because you have actual credentials and you were actually there.
And I will second that. I have looked into him just cursorily, you know, like I didn't do like a big deep dive into his whole, you know, past, but I was able to verify those things you said, which makes him a very compelling witness to me, because, you know, he is who he says he is. He's not some grifter. He's not selling anything to my knowledge, you know.
No, the only thing he'll like, he's I forget what they call it, but he'll come in and help with the show, with Skinwalker Ranch, the show, and he'll help Caleb Bench and all those guys. So, you know, it's you know, he spent 8 years out there. You know, $22 million of your money, if you're American, went to Bigelow and Colm Kelleher to sit in an office somewhere and never come to Skinwalker Ranch. If you talk to Chris, I'm not going to give his whole story, but he did see like a large wolf, and this is his words. He goes, we called Colm Kelleher, who's at the office. He's on call, making probably $300,000 a year. And he goes, hey, we just saw a giant wolf. And you know what Colm said? Not, we're going to send a team out there. Not, you know, you think, when you think of Skinwalker Ranch, you think like Stargate, like Kurt Russell's out there with AR-15 or the portal, fight for man. Because when you read that book, it's like, whoa, dude, there was a portal and like an 8-foot shadow monster came. Nah, man. The night vision that they used, Chris Bartell used that night vision. He had to beat it against a tree to get it to turn on. But they saw a demon come out of a portal. No. Like, and Colm Kelleher didn't send nobody to help. He said, well, be careful, and hung up.
Yeah, and you know, listen, here's where is a perfect example where something which, you know, I get it. Like I don't have wolves near my cabin, but I have there's really big coyotes that look like wolves. And a
Yeah.
lot of the game warden and some of the locals told me that they interbred with wolves, people think, where I'm at, because coyotes are not supposed to be as big as these things are. They look
Yeah, if
like
they're that
wolves,
big, yeah.
you know. And so you know, but a wolf in a rural area, it's not paranormal, it's not extraordinary, but we can see how something as prosaic as that can get twisted into werewolves at Skinwalker Ranch, right?
Yeah. 100%. And that's what he talks about too. Like he won't tell you that it was like a magic shape-shifting cigarette smoking wolf. He just say it was a giant dog. He'll just say it came out of a ditch, it howled at him, and it ran off, and the tracks disappeared. That's just that's the facts of what happened. He's not out here selling like a 300-page essay on it, you know. And then if you talk to him about the Kit Green and all those guys, man, like it's like Brandon Fugel. I mean, I love Skinwalker Ranch. I've met a lot of the guys there. I know a lot of people call them grifters or whatever. It's fine. That's like the one thing I have hope left in. That's just me. But you know, he got the ranch with nothing. He got the ranch, no reports, no nothing. But Bigelow wasn't even out there. He stayed there like one time, saw something, and he got scared or whatever, or was making $22 million, and you look into whatever you want to, and he never went back. You know, you got to imagine Chris Bartow is probably wandering out there in the desert of Utah, making $45,000 a year with a pistol, hoping he's not going to get eaten by wolves with one other guard. There was one other guard.
Well, not to mention the dino beavers. You know.
Yeah, oh, get him on the. He literally told me. He said, "I've been to that spot 100 times. There's giant porcupines there, huge, and giant beavers. They're massive. They have no predators, so of course they're huge." And he's like,
Yeah.
they said they saw a dino beaver. Then they went and wrote a book about it. He's like, they didn't put up game cameras. They didn't have anybody watching it. They didn't do any research.
Why would you let something like facts and evidence and getting a picture of the creature get in the way of a good scam?
Of George Knapp and those $3 bills.
Yeah. And by the way, I want to thank the live chat. I'm sorry, I forgot. Even before the show began, people were throwing money at us. UFO-Shane, fantastic, with 99-cent super sticker and a $1.99 super sticker and a 99-cent super sticker and a 99-cent super sticker, and then we had Red Panda Koala with a kind and generous $4.99 super chat. So we thank Red Panda Koala for kindness, generosity, and support. And we've got John Chow here with kind of generous $2, says Bigelow. It's all
Bigelow
about
needs
him.
that answer.
We need to zero in. Yeah, I absolutely, positively agree. So we want to thank you all for your kindness, generosity, and support of the show and helping us to praise the cash. That's what cash. Yeah, the grifters can praise the cash, so I think we should be able to praise the cash too. UFO-Shane, praise the cash.
Damn right.
We're not lying to anybody.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right, awesome. There we go. So it looks like, to me, that many ordinary things are being mistranslated into something paranormal, and this extends to, like, if we consider these two eras, right? The Bigelow era, when he owned it and was stealing $22 million from the government.
He was reappropriating it.
He just reappropriating $22 million to research his own ranch. That's a great scam.
I think he stole $22 million to buy another Rolls Royce like Billy Carson did. But, you know, whatever.
Allegedly. We have to use the word allegedly, right? Allegedly. Get angry lawyer letters, you know?
Let's not do that, yeah.
Get angry lawyer letters.
They have all the money in the world. We don't want to fight that legal team, you know? Jeez. You know, that's the thing, too, for me, is like smaller YouTubers and stuff are like fighting each other over these heroes that they hold up, you know? And it's like, these guys don't give a shit about you. They have millions and millions of dollars. You have maybe, you know, if you're doing successful as a regular American now, you might have like 20, 30 grand in the bank, maybe more. These guys have millions of dollars, and they don't give back a fucking dime. Nothing. Yeah. Nothing. They don't help at all. You're either grifting or you're uplifting. For me, and dude,
I'm totally stealing that. We're not grifting, we're uplifting. Yes.
Yeah, or you got to grift to uplift. I mean, it's where we're gonna look at it, I guess. But like maybe we should
Isn't
hold an
it?
award
Isn't
show.
it really has the grifting has really gotten ridiculous lately. And
Dude, the
thank you,
award shows
Karen.
is I'm over the top with these award shows. Like I was asleep, I listened to
I know
UFO
you sent
videos.
me the thing at like 3:00 in the morning.
Oh,
Thank
man.
you, Karen Totten, for a kind and generous $9.99 super chat, and thank you, Darren Reed, for a kind and generous $13.99 Canadian. Says you mean Shane should be doing this professionally? Yes, absolutely. They're and then he can praise the cash too. Darren
That's
Reed,
right.
praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
Yes. Don't you think though that the grifting has gotten like to the point of ridiculousness now?
It's
Like,
gotten so
we got
ridiculous.
Linda Moulton Howe gets caught
was about to say that.
selling. She got caught selling these 2 completely fake pictures by us here. I'm told she did that before as well. There just wasn't somebody there to really.
That's what I was told too. I was
on.
told that Jim Mars went up to her and asked her about it, and she just was like, I don't know. I'm just making $125 autograph. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're aliens. I don't know. Stupid.
No, genuine picture of an alien. It was taken on the moon by her secret source Spartan Liar.
7.
Yes.
Spartan 7. Probably 400-pound man in a lawn chair somewhere, but he's a Spartan at one time. For sure.
I don't understand how, like I was talking about this last night. If you wrote about any other subject, like let's say you wrote about Star Trek or you did stories on Star Trek and you got caught with 2 completely fake stories in a short time, you'd be done doing Star Trek stories. But she's like a zombie of the UFO apocalypse. Like she just rises again and comes up with a new grift.
Well, you got to think though, right? Like damn well you can't go to Antarctica and go anywhere. Mr. Beast has more money than everybody, and they made him stay in one spot. That doesn't mean there's aliens down there. It just means it's literally an undiscovered, traveled continent that will kill you instantly. And so if you're going to make a bunch of stories, that's the place to pick it. That's the place to go. That's where you want to do it.
On Antarctica, I found a touring company that will take you anywhere you want to go. And I was very clear. I'm like, anywhere? Like, if I have a set of coordinates, you'll take me anywhere in Antarctica? He's like, yeah, for the right price. If you've got the funds, sure. Oh, yeah. So these people who are always grifting on that underground spaceship in Antarctica, and they all say they know where it is, or they show you maps and shit. Like, get your ass in a helicopter and take some cameras, and you would make billions discovering this.
Any of the money you have stolen from all of us to at least find out a yes or no. Like, do one good thing. But no, that would they have to go get their Botox and their tans. The Antarctic air would mess all that up, and then we have to give them even more money to get more manicures.
And thank you, Heather Birdie, for the kind and generous $2.
Heather Birdie,
UFO-Shane for president. Yes, that would be interesting.
Dude, I would sit on a throne of skulls, man. It wouldn't even be good for nobody because like that flamethrower meme, just all right. We need all of ufology's got to go, dude. I don't even care if it's like good at this point. Just got to shove it off the table and then we can just rebuild it. Like set the puzzle piece back because it's just at this point, man. And that's the thing about the spaces. It's like you'll meet actual people. Like I know a guy that can read Sumerian. He doesn't have a show or anything.
Yeah. And there are. I do have to say, like there are some pretty interesting and amazing people that are into this stuff. So, I that's the part that I enjoy, the strange and interesting characters, kind of like you, UFO-Shane, you're an interesting, strange character.
I'm a walrus.
That busting people's balls in the spaces is just kind of funny because sometimes somebody comes in and they say something really stupid, like Linda Moulton Howe's an award-winning journalist, and then everybody just shits all over that person in the spaces. That's the part that I enjoy.
But that people are starting to realize, though, man. like I was gonna say, like I woke up, I listen to UFO videos, right? And I hate the grifting too, and I'm really getting really mad. I'm getting like I'm gonna start breaking stuff in my house, kind of mad. And I wake up and I hear the award for the Samaritan of the Year goes to Billy Carson, and it's Giorgio Tsoukalos. Like, you're the best, man. You deserve this so much. I'm so proud of you, Billy. I'm so proud of you. And I woke up to this, and I lean over and look at my phone. And I'm like, no.
And listen, I'm going to be careful here with what I say, but when you're giving an award to a guy who let's just say has questionable business practices at the very best. And the claims this guy made. Remember, he built an underground city somewhere. NASA was one of his clients. He's an MIT alumni.
He's everything. He's done it all. He's ninja fought aliens on the moon. Who knows?
And really, if you listen to largely what he pushes, it's garbage. He pushes the Emerald Tablets of Thoth a lot.
Yeah, Hermes Trismegistus. Yep.
Yeah, and he pushes the Black Knight satellite, which has been thoroughly debunked out the
Not only that, he just used Jacques Vallée's research from the 1970s on it and then rehashed it in a documentary and probably got another award for it. I know Jimmy was patting him on the back real hard. Good job, Billy. You did it, Billy. You know, come on, man. It's just a joke.
Jimmy Church is the ultimate enabler of the garbage.
Get your faded black coffee fader knots to 99. Try the new fader knot blend. Like, dude, Jimmy, slow down, bud. You know, the other day he did 3 posts on Twitter back to back. All 3 were for peptides. These peptides apparently, Stephen, can heal your eyesight. Now, if I take my glasses off, I can't walk across the room. But these peptides, oh yeah, man, I'm sure they're gonna heal my eyesight right up.
Well, 100%. I didn't know he was pushing that garbage now.
Yeah,
but
and then the next thing
I don't think that he realizes that like he's facing some problems. His show is shrinking like crazy. Ours is growing. I think there's a lot more people are waking up and they're going, this is not acceptable. Maybe it was for the last 20 years, but no, the younger generation is going, no, this is garbage. Stop pushing garbage.
Stop.
And the old people that were supporting him are dying off, like a lot of those boomers and everything. So he's left trying to still hold on to his grift, and it ain't working out real good.
When Art Bell died, there was like a literal black hole that formed, and it just started eating everything. Just the grift, man. Art Bell took those Oxycontins and unfortunately passed away, and it's just been a shit show ever since. It's been people trying like Nori and everybody trying to like mimic Art, and you're not going to do it. And so they start doing Gaia, and they start doing this kind of stuff. And that, that's another thing is Gaia. Like, it's owned by a fake yogi spiritualist dude. Every show on there is literal garbage. Like, it's
I have a thing that if
not even pseudoscience.
If somebody's on Gaia TV, I know they're a bullshitter, except for one exception, because Walter Bosley, who is a good researcher, he just did like a guest spot where he talked about some certain thing they wanted somebody to talk about. He's the only one. Everybody else,
so fast.
Everybody else on Gaia, I'm like, no, these people are all fake. It's like it's like fairy tale story time hour for stupid people. You
can heal your chakrams by focusing your eyes directly at the sun. Like, what? That doesn't sound healthy. Okay. That's what they just might as well be pimping that kind of garbage. It's just like all these people are sitting around with like turkeys with their heads up and it's raining, man, just getting drowned by just straight bullshit. It's a cancer. And then Billy Carson opens up his network, and then every ad for Jimmy Church is like, and he does a half thing. It's like, all right, next up is Billy. Hey there, guys, I'm doing another convention. My wife needs a new Rolls. He literally did this. He funded it. I know this for a fact. He funded his own convention. The money he made from the ticket sales, and after paying everyone, was exactly $82,000, which was exactly what he needed to buy that new Rolls. And he bought a new Rolls Royce. And he was rude to my friend at the same time. So
wow. Well, more power to him, but I could think of better things to do. And meanwhile, he is always saying that he's giving all this money to charity, but a lot of people have questioned that.
He's also stolen a lot of money from charities. So
let's say allegedly. Yeah. I think there's a lot of shady stuff going on with that guy. And interestingly, he just threatened to sue somebody who was revealing his past problems with law enforcement. And so,
he jumped in front of that quick. I was literally on Twitter and I got the drop down, because I have alerts. I follow the Grifters. And it's like, is Billy Carson a convicted felon who spent time in prison? I'm like, probably. And I went there and he jumped right in front of it.
Technically, he's not, because of a deal made with the prosecutor in that case where they would, it's pretty common. Sometimes on a first offense, they'll say, if you complete your probation, we'll wipe the record of your arrest and expunge your record. And that's what happened with him. But the truth remains that he was arrested for and pled guilty to fraud-related charges. Or I'm sorry, he pled no contest. I have to be very careful with what I say. He pled no contest to these fraud-related charges. So, but after he completed his probation, they wiped the record of his arrest and whatever. It is what it is.
Then he got a download, and then he got a download in his living room. Time froze. Beings came through the wall, and he got a download from them, and he began talking about Puma Punku. That's exactly, like, literally, that's his story. He's like, oh, I was frozen. I mean, maybe he was. And I was like, and then I went to Puma Punku and got married to my wife. It's like, all right. Like,
yeah. And I think that his wife may have had some, issues in her past as well. And then they're doing this whole thing where they're publicly offering stock for people to purchase. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with somebody having like a rough past, to be honest with you. It's more about what you do now. Like you can always change. You can always become a better person. You could also just keep lying and stealing, and that's what I've allegedly seen. Allegedly.
And UFO John Doe with kindly generous $9.99 super chat, and thanks for that, and thanks for being a member. Says Stephen, you should report on each show the numbers days gone by that Bob Lazar hasn't accepted the Eric Weinstein challenge / debate. Lazar has no mutual MIT and Harvard acquaintances. Lazar still a fraud. And I absolutely agree with you, UFO John Doe.
Wait, what? Bob Lazar was lying the whole time?
Yeah, and here's where it gets interesting because, listen, if you had spent 30 years of your life telling people that story was true in the form of George Knapp, wouldn't you encourage that so that Bob Lazar could be vindicated? Where's George Knapp on this? Crickets. Where's Jeremy Corbell on this? Crickets. They don't want him. They don't want him anywhere near a real scientist because Bob Lazar is a convicted pimp, fake scientist.
Yeah, he literally got taken to court for putting CCTV cameras up to look at women, like, and then he had to go to court.
Well, a lot of people say that is he was bribing the Johns in the whorehouse. Like
either way,
yeah,
allegedly. He went to court. I don't think he allegedly went to court, though. He definitely went to court, and he had to show his credentials.
Yeah, and he lied. He lied in the court case, claiming that he was a government worker when he wasn't, and that could be, problematic for him. But more problematic is the fact that I am sure that anybody with a real physics knowledge talking to him would know instastly that he never went to MIT. He never went to Caltech. He's a
real smart guy. He's real smart. Yeah, okay. Well, he has an opportunity. Eric Weinstein's like pretty chill. Just go talk to him. Nah, man. And they don't, like, people shit on Mick West all the time, dude. You can DM Mick West right now. He'll chill out with you, tell you whatever.
I mean, yeah, he's pretty approachable. I like him. And thank you, UFO John Doe, for helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
It's a praise the cash kind of a day. We like that. Right. Thank you all. So you're aware of this whole, so the challenge is that Joe Rogan wants Bob Lazar to talk to Eric Weinstein, and then Eric Weinstein sort of dish on whether Bob really knows what he's talking about or whether he's just full of it. Crickets from the Lazar pro people, right?
Hey, man, Lazar's been hunted by the FBI for 28 years. He just needs to be in the mountains and sell his plutonium online. He'll be fine. Get out of here, dude. Yeah, I have a headache, man. Joe was.
Well, listen. In his defense, I have to say this: if I had to hang out with Jeremy Corbell, I'd have a headache too.
Dude, yeah, like that phone call. That phone call really shows you. It's like, we gotta weaponize. Like, dude, shut up, man. Like, go hang out with Dave Foley, dude. Like, go do anything else. Like, it's cool. Like, we're good. Like, he had a whole episode of his podcast where he talked about his favorite UFO movies, and guess what? It was Close Encounters. No way. Who doesn't like Close Encounters?
Wonder where
I made a Close Encounters grading out the other day. Close Encounters is the shit.
I saw that on Twitter and I laughed. You know what I just saw? That's a great movie that I forgot was such a great movie. Starman.
Oh, dude, Starman's the shit.
That's a really old movie, but that is an interesting look at how contact might actually happen. Instead of them physically coming here, they come here as energy beings and take on our form and learn the human experience and then get the hell out of here.
I would think too. It's like the Archons. It's like, I think that's where the Archon story might come from, a Starman, to be honest with you. But I watched it the other day because
you know what else? You know what else comes from that? There's a scene where the government scientists, they crack open the craft and he gets down in there and it looks inside like a Jello mold where everything is molded. And as soon as I saw that, I went, I wonder where Bob got that molded UFO thing from, right?
Yeah. The whole thing like that. There's that. Oh, what about the hand scanner? Well, it was on Close Encounters in a deleted scene. The government didn't bring that on there to give you some hint for disclosure. It was literally just a movie prop that didn't make it into the film. It's stupid. It's so stupid. No one has come out and said that they were all the people were liars that have. I mean, there's no corroboration. Nobody remembers going to school with this dude. Nobody remembers anything. Are you kidding me? It's been long enough. And everyone's like, he's never changed his story. Dude, he's changed his story tons of times. And that's what it is, though. It's a story. So
yeah. And I thought it was interesting that Corbell such overhyped and under-delivered in that film. We're going to have all this new evidence.
Yeah, but he probably made a good smooth $7 million off of it. People, oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. It showed nothing.
I don't know. I try to not be too incredibly critical. I want to learn to make films, but I thought it was garbage for the content and garbage for the whole thing. Is okay, you're a documentary filmmaker. Why are you in half of the movie? You know, Michael Moore is in the movies, in his own movies too, but he does it a slightly better way. Nobody cares about you talking on the phone in your bathroom. This is stupid.
Yeah, he's in his bathroom. He's and then I received a call from Bob Lazar. Are the FBI really there? Whoa. Dude. Yeah, he's always been like that, though. Anytime when he first showed up on Joe Rogan, he would suck the whole room in. It happens in spaces, too. People come in and take over the whole conversation whenever someone with actual knowledge and actual research is trying to speak. And it happens like that, man. You have the people that want to ride the coattails, and that's, be the Rob Schneider to the Adam Sandler. It's fine. But he's taking it to a whole new level. And weaponize your curiosity is the dumbest shit, ever. I don't have curiosity, dog. I watched a cabinet unlock itself. I watched a helicopter levitate 10 foot across my room. And then I watched 6 red balls of light manifest in front of my face. I ain't curious no more, dude. I'm literally just what? I'm not curious about. I know there's something going on. I'm not trying to weaponize nothing. Just maybe somebody should just tell me exactly what's happening here, but they can't because nobody knows. And if they do, there's some esoteric group or something, that's been around for 1,000 years. That's my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that. And it seems to me that some of these so-called information sources are, it's pretty clear that they're profit-driven garbage peddlers.
Yeah,
the majority of them.
Oh, dude, it's like what you said. I watched that Ross Coulthard video you did, like I said, and when you read the title and then you watch the show and it's no scientist proved anything, and then you talk to the scientist, he's I never said that shit, and then it's Michio Kaku who just hypotheticals everything into the sun, and it's well, but why did you say this? You wanted me to click on this, and then like you said, he did the voiceover and all that with the Bet Sphere types, the Patrick Jackson crap, and it's all just to have that public image. You got to think, right? Whenever you're doing video or you're doing things like this, you want it to pop. You want it to have. They have PR teams, and they're out here we need to do this and this and this and this because they all want that money. They all want to get paid. Everybody. There's no truth involved. There's these David Wilcox could, instead of taking, the thing about Wilcox is he believed his own. He spouted so much trash that he bought his own bullshit and started investing in that alien reproduction vehicle. And he lost all his money, and that's why he's back doing this crap, allegedly. And it's just such a crap show, man. It's a joke. And I don't even know where it all begins, where you could even go back to cut it.
Well, the funny thing is though, you have to admit that there's two perceptions, right? From the believer side, Bob Lazar is real. Jeremy Corbell's doing great work. This whole thing is a perception problem.
I used to be right there with them.
Yeah, but when you peel back these layers of deception, you find out, Bob Lazar is a convicted pimp fake scientist, and they forgot to tell us that when they were selling us that story,
Just forgot to mention his connection.
James Fox forgets to mention that in 25 years of selling the same story, all he's able to come up with is anonymous sources constantly. They confirmed what he already said 25 years ago about the story. It's when the layers of deception are peeled back, and then you've got Linda Moulton House selling completely fake alien pictures, and you see the bigger picture of it's all like a circus sideshow grift, I remember when I was a kid. Did you ever go to like a carnival with a circus sideshow or anything like
Oh,
that?
dude, I've been to Barnum and Bailey. Heck yeah.
2 times that I have given money and felt very uncomfortable both times is the one time it was this big poster, like, what is it? You know, and there was this weird looking creature on the poster. And then you go pay money, and it was a dog that somebody shaved completely of hair.
You have to walk through the whole
You have to
thing.
walk through the thing, and then you give your
With
$5.
hair, like,
It was
encased in ice.
$5. It was $5, and then you walk up to this trailer, and they got this thing in the thing, and it's $5.
You're moving the tarp, like there's just all these tarps. You're like,
Yeah,
where's it at?
And then the other time was, I think we were at like an amusement park, and it was like, see the world's smallest woman, and they had the poster was like, it looked like like a 12-inch GI Joe figure next to
Classic
real
grift.
people. It was like, oh my god, and like, how small is this girl? And I wasn't going to do it, but then it bothered me throughout the day, and I had to go back. And then you give $5, and there's this little girl who was obviously like, affected by the little people disease. She was a dwarf, but she wasn't abnormally small for one of those, for a little person. She was just a regular little person, and they had her standing on this bench, and people just paid their money and walked by. But anyway, sorry to get off in the weeds, but that is what this is. That is what this is. It is
you have to walk through the hallway.
I'll walk
Where
through.
the fucking answers at? Oh, they're right here, and encased in ice. It's a shaved dog. It's a shaved dog.
Yeah,
there you go, bud.
It's a monkey suit that we froze. It's a shaved dog.
And unfortunately, it's not $5 anymore. It's $1,500, baby. $1,500 to meet me, Jimmy Church. Like, come on, man.
Do you think that it's worth $1,500 to meet like what we can only describe as like a D or E level celebrity? Like,
dude, they are out here, dude.
Lou Elizondo was on the History Channel for like 15 minutes. Like, that's all. Like, the fame that he got. He got there by lying to the New York Times about a Pentagon program that never even existed except in his own imagination.
I was there. I fought in the Moon Wars.
People are really paying $1,500 to meet this guy.
Yeah, there's all these high def videos though, Steven. Don't worry, they've been going to come out for about 8 years now, but
they're 23 minutes long. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. It's the government might have stuff. Dude, I just at this point it's just like, is it going to end? Because everyone's like, oh, it'll be the next hearing. I'm like, yeah, dude, at the rate it's going to be 2082, and you might get 10% of the answer that the government may or may not have. Like, they're not going to tell us anything anyway. I don't know why anyone thinks they're going to release any type of like advanced technology when we might go to war with China. Like, let's just
very good point.
Let's wheel all of our advanced tech out here for our enemies to see. No, it's never worked that way, and it never.
Yeah, and
will.
what do you think of this? Some of these people are so convinced that people who used to work for the government are now going to tell them the truth.
They ain't gonna say shit.
But it's so stupid. Like, wait a minute. I thought they were running the cover up for 70 years. Now
dude, these are sands of the earth people from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s that love their government and they work till retirement. They ain't gonna say nothing. They might tell their granddaughter, ain't no gonna believe her. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna.
Look at this, Anthony Peterson with a kind of generous $2. He says, for your Antarctica expedition fund.
I will go. Yeah. My buddy's in the Navy. I tried to get him to get that Antarctic base, and he this is no bullshit. He bought a part for his car from Russia, and they wouldn't send him over there because of that. I was like, all right. That's weird.
That's pretty interesting. But thank you, Anthony Peterson, for your kindness, generosity, and support.
But that doesn't mean
what a waste of time that would be, though. Like, if somebody gave you coordinates and then you actually did do that,
I'd be so mad.
You went out there. There's just a big block of ice and nothing.
You're just wampling back and forth on the ocean for like days trying to get to that freaking beach. Like, okay, I'm gonna see birds opening the inner earth, baby. I got the coordinates from Spartan 2, and you get there and it's just like more dirt and ice.
More nothing.
Yeah,
a whole lot of nothing. And then
penguin just.
I don't know if you heard this story, but we've got Michael Salla grifting that there is a space ark under Ukraine, and that's what the war is over.
Who said that?
Michael Salla. There is a space ark, an alien spaceship space ark, and DNA, like depository or something.
And they're waiting now to go for this.
It's under Ukraine. That's what the war is about.
Okay, and let's go back a second. What was the war on terror really about again? Oh yeah, Stargate.
Yeah, they wanted to
Come
get
on,
the
man.
Iraqi Stargates. Yeah, same old grift, different.
Every time.
They just change it a little bit, right? They just
Dude,
change
I
it
mean,
around a little
Stargate
bit.
was a good movie. When Kurt Russell's going in that portal, man, that's badass. I get it. I wish that shit was real. But the truth of the matter is, dude, the phenomenon to me, I've seen it. Like, it exists. It's already fascinating, right? That's already something out of a fiction novel. That's already crazy. But people just stack their own things on it, and then they sell that. And it's like, it's already cool. It doesn't have to be any more crazy. We don't have to go to Mars and fight in the med bay.
Yeah, I agree
all
with
that
you,
crap.
and it's interesting that I agree with that sentiment too. It seems like it's just bull pile on top of other bull.
Dude,
Like
bad.
you didn't prove the first bull, you can't pile new bull on top of the old bull until you prove that.
Well, you'd think that'd be how it worked, but it's obviously not. So
Yeah,
they
and that's
just
a good way to grift too, is to add your grift to something that people already heard about and accept, like Roswell. We've got the Roswell Rock, the Roswell slides were fake, the Roswell Rock is fake.
That Roswell Rock guy, man, he had me, bro. He had me. I was like, this is so freaking cool. Like, look at the crop circle that matches it. But I used to be a big Ancient Aliens guy, and that's why another thing, man. Like, I watch Ancient Aliens. I used to watch it and be like, no fucking way. And then now I watch it and I'm like, oh, there's David Wilcock's forehead. Ha 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 ha. And I'm laughing at it, but I'm laughing. And then I remember, like, oh, people are believing this bullshit. Oh, then I get sad. And then I get mad. And then, I open a space and start yelling.
One of our advertisers is Galaxy Bundle Sasquatch soap. That's good to hear. Yeah.
Well, we got it clean.
Praise the cash. We're getting paid, UFO-Shane.
Let's go.
Did you know, UFO-Shane, that people are attacking me, saying that you're no different than them or something like that, because we monetized here and we'll accept support of the audience. Okay. But all of our content is free, and don't you think somebody should be out there busting the scammers and the fraudsters as much as possible?
What do you do when there's too many of anything and animals in an area? You have to cleanse it, and it's just part of it, man.
Yes.
Like, I'm not here. Look, I tell people all the time, like, I'm not here for you. I'm here for me, and I'm here to get rid of this bullshit so I can figure out what's going on. That's what I'm here for. So, and if people, like, I have a lot of friends that believe in Lou. I have a lot of friends that believe in a lot of people and they don't like people that I like, and that's fine. But it's when people staunchly die on the cross for these people that don't even know their name, and that's what's weird to me. Like, let's just kind of come together and get these assholes out of here, because they're lying. I mean, how many times can you sell something that's been proven a lie and just come on right back, just like you said, whacking them all, boop boop, back up, boop boop, every time.
They do pop right back up. Yeah.
Well, they wait a decent amount. They have a PR team, like you say, man. Just you got that house out in the woods, right? Yeah, I got it right there for a little while. We're gonna smooth all this over. Don't worry, Corey. We're not gonna release these documents, and then get released. And he still comes back, dude.
Yeah, the fact that he came back, the balls of him to come back after those depositions dropped with him saying he's never been to space.
Dude, how much money did he make, man?
Millions.
And then he goes on a tirade blowing it all. That's your fault. That is your fault that you wasted your money. If you would have helped the community, if you would have done anything with it, then you'd still have supporters that would help you now, knowing that at least you're trying to do the right thing. That's their fault. It's Linda Moulton Howe's fault that she's ruining her legacy, not mine. It has nothing to do with me. It's your fault.
Shane, you should have seen the vitriol that we got covering her fake stories.
Like, dude, I heard Kurt Mungo on my show, and he said, yeah, I got to apologize for that. And I said, no, you don't. Don't you? Yeah. No. Why would you apologize for that?
Interestingly, after that, he doesn't really accept my questions anymore. But isn't it interesting that one question was enough to demolish that lady?
Dude, she's just like this. Well, I am an award-winning blah blah, and that's good, man. I'm glad your friends kept giving you awards. They're still doing it. Good for you, man. How about you do something then? Fund an expedition. I literally got told, don't pick on Linda. She's just trying to save up. She doesn't have a retirement. She's been a single journalist this whole time. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. She has all the money in the world.
She's made millions of dollars. She's got plenty of money. Yeah. And but I wonder about her adult children and how they feel about what, like mom's running around selling fake pictures of aliens from video game covers. but they're getting a piece of it too. Yeah.
They're driving around a brand new BMW 650. I promise you, or a Range Rover.
Yeah,
They're
there
chilling.
was two questions. Lou set up the meltdown, and I hit the home run. Yeah, yeah, we should certainly acknowledge that she didn't like, but she did not like answering questions about her lack of vetting and her
They won't.
piss poor research, and
She watched the other UFO guys come on Kurt's show, and they were open armed, man. Kurt asked them more questions, but hey, man, it's roll of the dice, baby. Sometimes a question pops up. People want to know. If you just answer the question. Hell, if you lied, just tell me you fucking lied. Yeah, I lied. Okay. Thank you for being honest.
Yeah, we need to watch. We need to watch the F-bombs because YouTube has been slamming us lately.
I'm used to spaces where I will literally talk in an esoteric voice the entire time and just say all the things I will go hard. You'll be judged before your peers.
That's one reason I like spaces. I don't have to think about what I'm going to say before I say it, or I don't have to self-censor, No,
there's definitely none of that going on. That's just people going full bore all the time. Yeah, I had two guys get into an argument this morning about somebody that was like, you need to have an experience yourself so you understand. And the guy's like, I am an experiencer. And I was like, mute. All right, guys, let's calm down for a minute. Here, we're not gonna argue who got to see the most hot aliens. Let's chill.
Yeah, but one thing I will say is that we were doing these panel shows here where we'd have like 8 or 10 people at once, and it gets crazy.
Oh yeah, you that moderator.
Spaces is a little easier to manage all those people because only one person can talk at a time, or things like that, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Kimball Mortensen with a kind and generous 1999 says, this is such a great show. Rapid fire questions for each of you. What are your top 2 researchers and then one solid researcher you think people are sleeping on? I don't, it's really hard to say. There's so few. I can count the good researchers on one hand. I still,
literally like 2.
What I do, 2 or 3. What I do is I have categories. Or baskets. I have the black basket for all the grifters and scammers and whatever but they don't get there unless I'm sure they're grifting and scamming and selling fake nonsense. I have a gray basket and I have a white hat basket. And quite honestly, there's only a few people in that white hat basket. Like Alien Scientist is still credible, and he's a real science guy. He's got a physics degree.
He killed it on concrete.
Killed it on concrete. We've been friends for a long time, he and I, and he really is passionate about the science of how these things may work and operate.
Yeah.
And so he's great. I like John from the Black Vault, and of course Mick West. I like Mick West because he's the only guy that I know in the world of UFOs that pisses off more people than me. So that's my 3.
He's so nice. He's
super nice. Yeah.
The people are like, you are.
In fact, I think he doesn't want to come here and do an interview because I think he thinks that I'm too harsh to people or something, but he's too polite to say it. He's super nice. Yeah. Those are my 3. You can list your 3, and thank you, Kimball Mortensen, for your kindness, generosity, and support. That'll go right in the till. The 20 spot. You can bring your friends all the time if they're going to throw money at us like this. Praise the cash.
Praise the cash, baby. Yeah, that's my. I co-host UFO intros with him. That's my boy right there. And like, so if I had to pick, not going like with classic guys, I have to like McDonald or whatever. I have to go with
LA
I'd have to go with Jim Mars. Jim Mars was the shit.
He was great. Yeah.
He was just like, and he would teach you the esoteric stuff in a way, or the occulted history, his book and all that, in a way that just made sense. And in fact, if you can find some of his lectures on monoatomics and monoatomic gold and alchemy, they're hard to find, but they're super good. And I'm gonna have to throw it to my boy Chris Bartell. He changed my entire outlook on all of this, and he's given me the strength to continue trying to get the truth out, at least for him. He's had his journey. He said he's done with it, but he was out there doing solid research. And when I listened to him talk, man, it opened up the whole world. It opened up the whole world for me. And then on top of that,
I really enjoyed. There was this, for those unaware, there was this Twitter Spaces that UFO-Shane was running or in, and Jesus, this guy just came and spilled like all the tea on early Skinwalker Ranch stuff that I'd never heard before. So we're gonna try to bring him here and have him do that again.
Yeah, he's probably listening, I think. What's up, Chris? He should be. I told him. And then so I don't know if a lot of people in here know Carl the Crusher. He's got like 3 million subs on YouTube, but he's a good friend of mine. He's the shit.
Oh
He's
yeah, there's
taught me.
also a lot of controversy in some of those spaces. I noticed
Dude, yeah.
this. Nazi
Yeah, Haley
fans
wasn't
and
wrong.
self-admitted people. Yeah, there are
Dude,
some characters in
as
there.
far as I'm aware, man, my spaces don't do that. So I've only ever had one guy openly declare he was a Nazi, and he ain't allowed no more. I mean, literally, I have Jewish heritage, so it's like, bruh, like, get out of here, dude. Like, I'm good. But it's just it's a mixed bag of
Thank
people.
you, Asman.
It's a mixed bag of people, and but yeah, like I was saying, Carl the Crusher, he's taught me a lot about the Native American aspect of this, and like we were talking about earlier with Nick Pope's, stupid wife, allegedly, she won't give these things.
No, I'm pretty sure you could say she's stupid. She's stupid for doing that, and selfish and self-centered and ridiculous. And also, don't you think, like, in a world of like super cancel culture now, where everybody's so sensitive about things, you would be extra sensitive to Native peoples? Do you know what I mean?
But she's got all that money, man. She's living in this whole, like, she's getting all that UFO money.
Yeah, like I was finding arrowheads around my cabin, and I started collecting them up, and then I met a local Native American. He runs like a shop and sells those kind of things, and I asked him, like, I'm finding a lot of these. Is it okay that I'm collecting them? And he said, sure, you're honoring our ancestors. That's fine. But if he had asked me to give them back to him or give them I would have, here you go,
Yeah, we don't have any right to keep that stuff, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of like flint arrowheads and weird things that you can find in the mountains,
Yeah. And that's the thing about the spiritual grift, right? Like, you don't need that. You don't need these yogi healers, like not even like the real Hindu guys, right? I love the Rig Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita and the Mahabharata. Like, I love Hinduism. It's my jam. But especially when you're living in the States, you want to know about spirituality, you want to know about consciousness and things like that, go to a reservation, meet the elders, talk to them, talk about their teachings, learn stuff you were never taught in school. We sit here in the United States. I'm 35 years old. I was raised in the South. I was raised in a town that was named after Native Americans. I was never taught a damn thing. Nothing.
Yeah.
Was never taken to a reservation or anything. It's bullcrap. I was just taught that we took all this stuff from them, and that's just how it is. That's literally what I was taught in school. Like, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah, I guess when I was younger, I actively sought out information about Native Americans because I was in a Boy Scouts, and a lot of the camps were on.
I didn't join Order of the Arrow because I thought it was a cult. I was an Eagle Scout, though.
I think I was, and I never got my Eagle Scout. It's a big regret of my life. I got right before it, and then girls happened, and I totally lost interest,
Yeah, I was the dude who was still like 18. Like, you guys really got to kick me out of here, man. I love going camping, though.
And you become in my neighborhood, you would then become like a helper to the scoutmaster and still hang out and come along,
Yeah, but then girls came along for me too, and I was like,
I don't know. For me, that was tremendously good because I grew up in the hood in the city, so getting to see like the woods and stuff.
Oh,
when
dude,
I was a kid, it was awesome.
See, I grew up in the woods in the Ozarks, man. I grew up in the mountains of Arkansas, so.
That sounds interesting. And thank you, Asman, who says Steven's laugh is contagious. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Tiff Tastic says, "Where's Shelly Miscavige?"
That's the dude, the leader of Scientology's wife. And so in my spaces,
she's been missing for a long time, dude.
Yeah, I'll do a thing where you have the thumbs down option. I'll be like, hey, everybody, let's just take a break for a minute and just give hearts to everybody out there that's struggling. Let's just give hearts. Let's just do hearts. And then I'll be like, and then also, while we're talking about stuff, where's Shelly, David? Where's she at? Where's Shelly at, David? Elmon Hubbard was a liar. The biggest grifter of all time. Out there with Parsons out there trying to summon a demon. It's crazy stuff, man. And then I got a whole church going on, man. The grift is real. It's just strong, man. They're out there riding these waves, dude, straight to the money bank. I just don't understand, like I've had a lot of money before in my life and stuff like that, and I try to help people when I had that. If I somehow sold a course, God forbid, if that ever happens, please somebody take me out. Please God, for my own safety. But if I had money, right, if I ever got $10 million from whatever, dude, I'd go to Antarctica, like you said. I'd try to figure out these answers to this. Heck, I would pay for that damn thing so I could be launched up in the stupid, penis-shaped aircraft that dude has, and I'd go up there and try to see the black light side of myself. Like, do something. Make any steps forward to find an answer, because something's happening here, but you're all too busy lying to figure out what the hell's going on. Dude, it kills me, because like I said, man, in spaces you hear people just bleed their heart out to you. And
I've been listening for longer than I've been participating. And I used to just go in and listen or keep it on in the background when I was working on something. And the experiencer stories in some of the spaces are very intriguing and interesting to me. And you can tell that these people are genuine. They're not selling a book. They want somebody to listen, and they want to be with people that may have had similar experiences so that they can learn a little more about what happened to them and make sense of it. And that's a good thing. I encourage that.
Yep. And I've had a few times, you'll get the guys who'll come in there and you're talking about the pyramids and UFOs, and they'll just walk in and be like, y'all are all dumb. It's demons. I read the Bible and it's all demons from hell. They're flying around in spacecrafts. And you're like, okay, dude. And they'll be telling you like it's fact though. And I'm like, well, it's cool that you believe that, and I'm glad that you have a belief. But if you want me to believe it, I need to see the
Oh
receipt.
yeah, I've heard somebody in spaces say it's all angels and demons, and the faster they tell us the truth, the better off all of us will be, or something like that. And I was like, well, if you say so, but and by the way, I guess there's just as much evidence to support that as to support their aliens from other star systems. So I can't really argue with them. But
that's true. Super true. Yeah, man. Like, I get told factual statements all the time that have nothing to back it up. And if anything, I'll get linked an article that'll link to another article, that'll link to another article, that'll link to a book. And that book was written by someone who was literally like insane. And it's like, okay. And but it keeps getting, it's like, it just keeps getting a different mask put on it until you can't find the source anymore. And all of a sudden it's something people believe is a true fact. And that's just how it works,
That's true. Spooky says angels and demons is a religiously coded frame for anomalous experiences. Could be.
I always tell people, if you want to believe that, then you need to find out if you want to believe what the Bible says, and I'm not saying anybody's faith is wrong, just do your research. That's what I did. I was raised, I was adopted as a kid, Jewish descent, raised by Southern Baptist, man. And I started asking questions just because it's in my nature. And I was like, well, let me find out where the King James Bible comes from. I'm from King James. That's a real deal. Okay, find out what that was about. Then find out where the translations came from. Then find out where Christianity came from. Oh, Hinduism. And then you start doing this whole thing. You're like, well, it's just it's just like another big mixed bag of stuff. And I just can't say any of that's a fact. I just don't. We have no way to do that, in my opinion. But that's everybody has their own faith. It's fine.
Cambria is here and says, I subscribe. Never watched this channel before. Well, check out some of our shows, and I hope that you watch some more. And thank you for the subscription.
Cambria. She's super sweet.
We appreciate that. Now, of course, UFO-Shane is going to drag me into a 5 hours Twitter Spaces to thank him for doing this. So
probably. I mean, you should come by. I'm going to have Caleb Bench on Saturday from Skinwalker Ranch, and I'm going to have I'm getting it worked out, but I think I'm going to have Fugel, Carl the Crusher, and Chris Bartell in one too here soon.
Oh, that'll be interesting. And Paranormal Chris is here, who says Shane is the best Spaces host. He needs his own YouTube channel, podcast, etc. Yeah, that's what you got to do. And actually, I think you could just take the recordings from those spaces and make a podcast out of it.
I don't record mine, though.
Twitter UFO spaces and just put them out.
Dude, I don't record them though, because that's the thing about spaces, and I don't even record them. Like the only time I record, I've had special guests that are famous or whatever, and I recorded space, Brandon Pugel, in there tons of times, and it's just not the same. Like when they know they're not being recorded, dude, they'll tell you some wild stuff that they actually believe, and it's like, oh shit, okay, like let me look that up. Like I had someone tell me that AI is sentient, and that's what the French Revolution is going on about right now. And I'm like, okay, I looked into it, and some people agree with that. And I'm like, that's crazy, but when you record it, they're more guarded. It comes off more like a Jimmy Church show, or you know what I mean? Like where they're not, they're trying to do like PR kind of thing. And I just I'm there to find out what the heck's going on for me. So I don't want the same.
Yeah, I've noticed that the Twitter Spaces seems to be a lot less structured and a little more focused on just people exploring.
You can try to
the phenomenon, and
you can try. Yeah. As soon as you open that microphone up, someone's going to pop up and be like, "It's the Anunnaki. They came here for gold." It's like, all right, we weren't even talking about that, but cool. I asked a question earlier. I said, if the Anunnaki were coming for gold, Stephen, there's asteroids in space with gold on them. Why would they come here?
JD, we generally don't delete comments, so I don't think that that's happening. So I don't know what's going on.
Well, we saw that comment.
We don't. Yeah, we saw your comment. We're not delete. We don't. They don't delete. The mods don't delete comments unless it's personal attacks or something really wacky. Yeah. Come on. Paranormal Chris says, come on into the space, Stephen. Yeah, I'm gonna make some time, but like I said, I
Building a
have
cabin, man.
short on time, so I'm one that would prefer to not talk. Like if I'm there, and one of the things I notice in spaces is people will say like, "Oh, Steve Campion's here. Let's hear what he has to say," and they don't know that I'm like building a cabin and my
You're
phone
like making a
is just
sandwich. Like what?
playing. Yeah, like I'm not. I'm here to listen for now. I don't.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Like I don't. That's why I used to do that a lot, and then I've had like DM discussions with it, and like some people, and I'm not gonna say names, but they've had crazy experiences and stuff, and they just
Thanks,
want to
Heather.
hear stuff. They don't want to. They don't want to really talk about it too much. They just want to listen and try to get some comfort from it, or they're just like you said, making a sandwich or building a cabin. But that's the cool part, though. You never know who's gonna pop in, man. Mick West has popped in randomly just to squash beef with somebody before. It's crazy.
Yeah,
They're
I
a
think
good time.
it's definitely an interesting medium. I'm still, but I'm incredibly self-serving sometimes, worrying about my show. So I was thinking, how do I get in there and then put it on my show too? So we're going to try to figure that out. UFO
We could do like a
Shane.
radio show thing.
Yeah, like a simulcast. We'll be on our show here live,
Oh, yeah, baby.
listening, and also be in the space at the same time. I think I could just share the space. So we're gonna have to do a joint space with you and me, and then I'll put it on the show as well.
You might do the entire show from Australia, Mike. Just do it all from Brisbane. It'll be beautiful. But yeah, it's you know what? I wanted to bring up another thing we talked about a little bit before this. Michael Tellinger. Do you know who that is?
I have heard the name and it rings a bell, but I don't know about this latest controversial thing. A few people have brought it up to me. So explain this Michael Tellinger thing to me.
All right, I will passionately. So there I was. No, so whenever I used to be into this, I really liked Michael Tellinger, but I was also kind of the Anunnaki thing at the time. And he's in South Africa, and he's like, "There's all these pits, man. These electromagnetic waves. You can tell where the Anunnaki's bases were." And like, I've started to stop caring so little that like Enlil and all that stuff. And he's like, "This is where we were genetically made." And I'm like, "What? Like, you have no proof of this?" And he's like, "Oh, no, you said this." And I'm like,
quite a theory, though, right? Yeah.
Well, it gets better. So then there's this dude on YouTube. His name is Mud Fossil University, and his whole thing is that mud fossils are soft tissue that falls into mud and gets fossilized into a rock. Well, Michael Tellinger gets into this mud fossil thing, and he, no crap, has a table with rocks. He's like, "You see this right here? This rock right here? It's a giant's liver. Yeah, you can see the striations of the blood vessels in his veins. Oh, yeah. You see this? This is a giant's big toe." And I'm not making this up. And this dude has...
You got to send me links. This is a gift from heaven. I'm covering that.
And he's doing the same thing like Forrester and them do, where like, pay me money to come out here, and I'll take... There's a big giant's foot imprint in the side of like some really hard, coarse rock.
Oh, my God.
He goes out there, and it does look like a foot, but there's no way. I mean, it's obviously some freak of nature, thing. This stuff does happen,
Hey, don't ruin the grift for the guy. Come on.
Oh, my bad. It is definitely a giant's foot, 100%. I think I did the math one time, and the giant would be like 60 feet tall.
So this guy just starts finding rocks and saying they're mud fossils that are giant
the elephant island, the elephant in Asia, East Asia, that looks like an elephant. You ever seen that?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, Mud Fossil University has this entire episode where he's like, "You can see the blood vessels. You can see them right there. You see the blood vessels in his ears?" And it's like, bro, it's just rocks, man. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it just looks like an elephant. It does look a lot like an elephant. But I just, why would this giant elephant die standing up? I mean, if there were giant elephants like in the Rig Vedas and stuff, why would it die standing up and then be fossilized? Like, it makes no sense. And then Michael Tellinger's just like, he holds up this big orange rock and he's like, "It's a giant's kidney."
Oh my God.
You just picked a specific organ too. Not it's a giant's organ. It's a kidney. Because you can see like the blood vessel striations in the rock or whatever. And it's so full of crap. This dude is he's losing his freaking mind, dude. I think these people start grifting so long, they just either go all in or just slowly lose their ability to like.
And he's got 128,000 subscribers because he's uncovering the truth.
Uncovering the truth on Gaia. He's on there with Meredith and all them talking about this stuff, and it's just like, it hurts to watch it, and I kick myself for believing. I used to love him, man. I used to love him, and that's the thing, though. I used to love all these guys, and then I go into spaces. I'm like, what about this guy? Yeah, he's not so great. What about this guy? Yeah, also not so great. I'm like, okay. And it's not like personal stuff. It's not like they have a criminal record or this. It's like they literally are stealing and fraudulently grifting from people. It's not, they're currently doing this, and it's
They're selling garbage. Yeah.
Yep. I the last time I was your last show, someone down in the comments had mentioned Heidi Hollis from Coast to Coast, and she does the Hatman stuff, and she copyrighted that, and a lot of people in Spaces were giving her a lot of grief for that. Her book is $7. All right, she's given away that book tons of times to people that email, because a lot of people are having this Hatman phenomenon happen. A lot of them are, and I was like, well, she's not really grifting if her book is $7. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's not
exactly. Yeah.
like she's not doing $300 courses, and she's super sweet. And so you got to be careful, when you're doing the grifting. Like she copyrighted it because she's having these production companies call her, referencing her book, and then not putting her on the project, but still using her references, but because they know they can get away with it. But they call her, and so she copyrighted it. That's why she did it. Not because she copyrighted the phenomenon. She copyrighted her book.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And you just got to be real careful sometimes, because she's, it's
Oh, and just to be clear, like I have no problem with people who are selling books and stuff like that. It's the scammy end of it, like that. If I'm selling a documentary based on Trust Me, Dude and anonymous sources, that's grifty to me. That's scammy. But if people are actually just presenting research and making documentaries or books, I have no problem with that.
Well.
It's these really fantastical crap that I really like, these super soldier weirdos.
Like, there I was fighting in the med bay on Mars.
Yes. Yes.
They brought me back and reconstructed my form as you see before you. I'm 274 pounds of pure muscle. I fought for my planet. I mean, country.
Yeah.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
What's funny about
anyway. You'll buy it anyway.
It's so funny. Those guys all look like old fat dudes, except for one guy, Ismail Perez. The rest of them all look like, they're just a mess.
Mud Fossil has all the DNA tests. I bet he does. I bet he does. I would gladly eat crow. If mud fossils turn out to be real, I'll eat it. I'll literally go get a live crow and eat it. It's not going to happen.
Uh-oh. Some sick part of me wants to see you do that. A live crow? You're going to eat a live bird? How you
I won't have to, because there's no way. I've looked into this extensively from like other researchers, Ivy League research, and it's all bullcrap.
This is all news to me. Roger from Mud Fossil University is hard to get your mind. Now I have a project for tonight. I'm going to go down the mud fossil rabbit hole. Like, this is fun. Bizarre,
Yeah, Roger sounds like a good dude. I want to make that really clear. He really believes what he's saying. Like, and he sounds like a guy who's really passionate about his research. It's really Michael Tellinger I have a problem with, because he's just picking up rocks on the side of the road in South Africa and going, "This is a giant's foot. You can see the toenail. It's perfect." And it's like just a rock. You're like, dude, get out of here, man. Yeah, look into it.
That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. And that man is like, his YouTube banner reads, "Searching for the truth."
Well, he might be, I guess. I mean, he's done some pretty cool like work with frequencies and stuff out there on the plateau and stuff. Pew pew. But it's just wild, man. Like, and I love this dude. I don't want to sit here and say this. I love this guy, but whatever. I just can't.
Well, can't you like love or appreciate somebody even though they're a wackadoo? Like, I can't remember his name, but there's that one guy that makes paintings of the alien chick he banged, and like,
oh, the dude in upstate New York.
Yeah, that's all he does is paint pictures of this alien girl.
And they're super sexual. Yeah.
And like, it's just so bizarre, and he is so like all chipped. He works
at a deli. That dude works at a deli, and he still does those paintings, and they're like in art shows and everything. Yeah, I like that guy though. He's just painting pictures though. He's not out here selling you a giant's kidney for $150,000 or whatever. I don't know if Tellinger's doing that, but I imagine that's next. So, I mean, I know. I mean, you got to think, from flying at any deceased person, it'd be Jim Mars all day.
Yeah, that's probably on my list. That, or I got to know Stanton Freeman a little bit before he passed away.
Rest in peace.
And I would sure like for him to still be. You never know what's going to happen. So like, there was a time where like I could just call him up and he would talk to me for an hour or 3 hours about stuff, and it was such like fun to have him around to talk to. And then he passes away. Yeah, it's a shame. And Jim
He
Mars,
called his own death too.
I never got to know. Yeah, well, he said he was going to work until he croaked. That's what he told me, because I told him, you got to slow down, Stan. Like, all this traveling's probably not good for you. He's like, I'm going to work till I croak, Steven. This is what I love doing.
Hey,
what am I going to do? Sit around and wait?
Sit around and wait?
Hey, you know,
he went out doing what he loved, baby. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah, yeah. And thank you, Red Panda Koala, thank you for your kindness, Red Panda Koala. Much appreciated.
Thanks, Panda. Yeah, man. You know, it's there's beautiful research out there, man. You know, have you looked into Timothy Hogan at all?
A little bit, yes.
Oh,
yes.
I have too. What have you found out?
Well, I'm still on the fence. I'm confused too.
Hard on the fence. I mean, at one point he's saying he's got 6 Arks of the Covenant, and then I ran into another Knights Templar guy yesterday, and I was like, "Hey, man, like, so if you're in the Knights Templar, the Order, then you know who Timothy Hogan is." Who? I was like, "Are you really in the Order?" Because I know for sure he's the Grand Master. And he's like, "Well, I haven't really been in contact with the thing." And I was like, "Let me look it up," and he's going to get back to me on it. But yeah, I mean, he said they have 6 Arks of the Covenant, all kinds of stuff. And then he has been brought to Egypt to do some like research with linguistics and stuff. So, and he's really intelligent. And I love the esoteric stuff, man. I'm all in with the Ark of the Covenant. That's my favorite thing out of all this is probably the Ark of the Covenant, because I think it was real.
You know, the Graham Hancock, the Ethiopian.
Ethiopia? Oh, yeah, the Church of St. Mary.
It is a verifiable fact that every guardian of that covenant goes blind. Like,
that's true.
That is documented that several of the caretakers have gone blind, which isn't really evidence, but it is. It's tantalizing.
Well, they didn't go blind in like 20, 30 years. They go blind in like 4.
It's tantalizing. What is it that they have in that?
Well, so there was a dude in 1954, I think it was. I can't remember his name right now, but he got to see the box. And he said it was just a box. But at the same time, that was back in the day. People, I don't know. I've looked into it. Something's happened to those people there. And recently, in the last couple of years, a lot of people died protecting that church because there was that big civil war in Ethiopia. And they brought the straight-up military to try to take that church over. And they stood in front of them guns. And like 500 people died protecting that church. And they gave up because they want to kill all the civilians. So there's something there. You know, I don't know. And that's the thing about what Timothy says, though. He says there's these arcs, and they're buildable boxes. It's just like not a fulcrum. I forgot what you call it, but it's gold and then acacia wood and then gold. And it's like a really good
Faraday cage.
Faraday cage. Yep, that's right. And gold is an insane conductor. And if you built the ark, I mean, the guys on Mythbusters built it and damn near killed one of them. So, but, you know.
And yeah, that was interesting. But that Ethiopian story is pretty interesting. I think that there's but that's one of those tantalizing things. Like, come on, man, let us see it. Let us see it. You know,
the religion ain't gonna let you in there. Though, just like you get into the Vatican.
They will never let you see it. And in fact, I'm aware that some very Christian people have gone there and tried to talk their way in somehow. And nope.
That's how you don't come back from Ethiopia, right there. Hell no. There's a bunch of stuff. You know, the ark is really cool, man. Like the whole thing with Jerusalem and the well of, that the Well of Souls is like this cave on the top of Temple Mount that no one can go into too. Crazy, cool. The Knights Templar were there digging up for years. Then on Friday the 13th, they killed the Grand Master, and they never found any of that treasure. It was just gone. And if you listen to Scott Walter from America on Earth, who should be on my show here soon, hopefully, he talks about like the Cremona document and the Book of the Words of the Lord and all that kind of stuff. And it's fascinating. These esoteric.
I like Scott, but I think he milks things, right?
Oh, yeah.
He milks some things. Like, oh, somebody found a sword. It must be from a Viking. Like, come on, dude. Like people made swords in the 20s and 30s just for decoration. Doesn't mean it's Viking. He jumps to the extraordinary explanation often before eliminating the more prosaic explanations. Yeah, but again, it's entertainment. You watch that show like
at least he's actually a geologist. At least he's actually a forensic geologist. At least he's got that going. He's not like an amateur. He's out here actually doing it. So it's crazy. The Graham Hancock is the truth from Paranormal Chris. Yeah, man. I want to ask Graham Hancock, why did you drop all the Gnostic stuff though? Remember he used to talk about the demiurge and all that stuff, and then he did. Yeah, he got on the mainstream and shit went out the window.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to get back to the aliens. You have been keeping your ear to the ground and listening to a lot of different people. There's this push now that a lot of the grifters, in my opinion, grifters are pushing this narrative that the crash retrievals, that's like the holy grail.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
that
a new thing.
we have recovered flying saucers, we have recovered alien technology, maybe even bodies, and people are blowing the whistle on it now, and we're finally going to get the truth about all of that, and it's going to confirm X, Y, and Z. You have been listening to all of this as I have, and I'm curious to see what you think of this whole, because it's multiple people, if you haven't noticed, that are pushing this narrative.
That's a whole squad.
It's a whole squad of people pushing this narrative. Do you think there's anything to this, or is this just the new grift that, the new carrot on a stick that they want everybody chasing?
So if I had to bet money on it, from what I've heard, there's strange, we built a jet in 1964 that could fly at 2,200 miles an hour, the SR-71 Blackbird, 1964. Ben Rich in 1993 said that we had the technology to take ET home. I looked into Ben Rich. He just had esophagus cancer. He wasn't like mentally ill. So there's got to be some type of truth to it. I don't think it's like Linda Moulton Howe's piece of bismuth magnesium or whatever. There's got to be some truth to it. But at the same time, it's not unbelievable for me to think that somebody tripped and fell into a cave one time and found something like extraordinary. Like, we find Darren Kuyu and all this stuff underground all the time. That's what we know about. So if you read the Rig Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita and all that, and you listen to those stories they read like science fiction novels, but they describe these craft and everything perfectly. But it's really like, it could just be human technology from back in the day. And if you listen to like what Timothy Hogan says, it's all lost technology from us. No sign of aliens. So I wouldn't really list it as aliens right now because I have no proof of that. I used to, shout to it's aliens, but there's no proof of that. But I'd have to say that there's some truth to us having something somewhere. But I don't even begin to think what it could be. I don't know if it's fiber optic or whatever.
I think that opportunists that some of these grifters are, there may be a nugget of truth to what they're saying.
They're running with it.
But they're running with things that could very well be, downed adversarial craft or downed, experimental craft where one section of the government doesn't know what the other section is doing.
Like Kecksburg?
Kecksburg could be.
Yeah, that's what Kecksburg was. I'm pretty convinced.
Russian satellite.
Well, I don't think it was Hitler time traveling in the Bell that crashed.
Yeah.
Mean, come on.
I mean, it's just a little too coincidental that a Russian spacecraft came down right in that same exact time frame.
Yeah, of course they're going to look out for it.
Yeah, and what people forget about these crash retrieval programs is, I can tell you verifiably 100%, there's a United States government crash retrieval program for sure. If any adversarial, especially technology,
Chris Bartell worked on it.
Yeah, well, anyway, but if they deorbit, if a satellite comes crashing down, if space trash from a Russian launch or a Chinese launch comes down somewhere, they want it. They want to look at it and they want to analyze it. There's a foreign technology division in the military that they take these things to. So I think a lot of this talk about the crash retrievals may be opportunistic UFO profiteering whores having some nugget of truth that something was recovered over there, but they're going to say it's aliens instead of a Russian booster rocket or instead of a Russian satellite or Chinese.
Yeah, because they don't want Russia or China to know they got it. I mean, they'll know they have it, but they don't want to admit they have it. It's 100%, 100%.
And it's going to be interesting to see what these clowns say when no proof of alien anything ever comes of what they're pushing, because they're pushing this narrative really hard right now.
Yeah, Ross Coulthard just said before we started the show that the people that went to Arrow are going to get their stuff released regardless, and blah 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 blah. It's like, well, stop! Don't tweet me that. Just tweet me the damn information. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm building everything up, man. I'm tired of waiting.
I think it's put up or shut up time.
At this point, it's got to be, dude. Because I'm not waiting another 80 years, dude. I might not be here. I've done survived cancer once. I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. I'd like to see something before I go.
Well,
anything.
I'm glad to hear that you had a positive outcome from that. It's
Yeah, man.
interesting. It's going to be interesting to see them squirm when they don't have evidence or proof of because they're really pushing.
Are they going to squirm though, Steven? Or are they going to like shift? Just shift over to the
No,
next
they're
one,
going to
baby?
do what I call the Cosmic Con shuffle. They'll go away for a little while, hope everybody forgets the grift, and then they come back with a new grift.
Oh yeah, every time, without fail. I mean, I wonder. The secret space or the SSP stuff, the War on Mars crap is so out there, and people just bought it, dude. They just bought it. I wonder what the next one's going to be. Like Gumby, is Gumby going to come from the past? Like I don't even. It's just so ridiculous. I don't at this point. It's going to slide in. Like it's me, Gumby. I'm here from Teflon 5. Like what's happening right now? At this point, people just believe anything. So you got to be there to just be like, hey, here are the facts. It's like Aunt Jolly with the cave. I told Aunt Jolly the other day, I said, Aunt Jolly, I want to see these cave aliens. And her answer to me was, and maybe you will, UFO-Shane. Maybe you will.
Well, there's going to be a problem with that because that we found out there was never a tunnel. There was never a cave. She made that shit all up. We got to the guy who owned the property, and he said none of her original story was true. It was all fake. So, and she's making the rounds. And this is what we were saying about whack-a-mole. Her whole story gets blown to crap, right? And then 6 months later or a year later, she's on Gaia TV telling the same story as if it didn't get blown to crap, that the whole story was fake. She just left out the part where the landowner said, I didn't dig a cave. There was no cave on my property when she was here.
There's no mantid aliens.
There's no mantid alien base, and she leaves out the fact that she was on all those drugs at the same time, like 5 different drugs at the same time.
And a heavy dose of a cannabis tincture. Heavy dose.
Yes, very heavy.
Heavy. Apparently like life-altering heavy, obviously, because she's I've smoked a lot of cannabis in my day, but I've never seen mantid creatures, like, hey, we're your friends. Like, I'm not sure about that. You have scythes for hands. Oh, we're good.
I remember when she was talking originally, when she first came out and she was talking about the Purple Lady entity. And I was like, you smoke DMT. That's what everybody sees on DMT is a purple entity.
There's a dude named Shane, another Shane that literally said he dates the chick. So it's... he goes on a whole show about he's dating the purple woman from DMT trips, and
he's got a DMT girlfriend that could get expensive. And
he said he had his friend did DMT, and he came back with a message.
I got to see my girlfriend. Got to smoke DMT again tonight. Like,
like 1 sec, I gotta go make dinner for my girlfriend. And you're just going, making bacon and eggs in the astral, baby. You want rye bread, bitch? You're like, you want rye bread? Like, it's just
Yeah. So do you think that things are going to get more ridiculous in the next 6 months or so? Or do you think that the grift has got to calm down a little bit? Because it seems to me like everybody's grift level is at 12 right now, 11 or 12.
We're at grift level like orange, and we're about to go to like platinum. Right? That's a whole nother. And I'm telling you, man, like, I love when people throw out dates because, people have been throwing out dates forever. And some people have thrown out dates, but they've died mysteriously, like George Van Tassel, stuff like that. And that's like, I love the Van Tassel story, the Integratron. But they've given you dates. They've given us dates, 2027. And I swear to God, on everything, if this date gets shifted, if I make it to 2027 and I don't see some aliens, I'm getting the kerosene out and I'm burning it all down. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, well, it's an unwritten rule of grifting that you don't give hard dates. Like David Wilcock has got caught up in this several times. Like before the year 2000, he said everybody was going to get superpowers and rainbow light bodies.
The rainbow light body.
And none of that shit happened. And then leading up to 2012, he pulled the same grift again 12 years later. We're all going to get light bodies and superpowers and telekinesis.
But he's achieved the rainbow grift body. He literally is the master. Grift. He is the master. He is so good. You have to give him props for being as ballsy, for squeezing out. We're contacting the manager, Panda, for squeezing out of just the slime. Like I was with Corey Good. Like, him and Corey, these bastards, they hijacked the Navajo Rangers, a good wholesome group of Navajo men, and they like sponsored them and had them mention them at their shows, and then just ran off. I mean, come on, man, you're gonna mess with the Native American, the Navajo Rangers, dude? Out
Well,
here
not
just
to
trying to tell you
mention,
stories from the reservation? Come on,
not
get
to
out of here.
mention that they stole millions of dollars from the UFO community for completely and totally fake stories for like 5 years. You know,
And
5 years,
millions.
they every time,
Millions.
yeah, millions of dollars in 5 years for stories that we now know are 100% fake. Kind of hard to be a secret space program insider
Dude,
when you admit under oaths, oh, I've never been to space.
if the
Not
aliens are
physically.
real and you make $10 million, call Brandon, go out to Homestead 2 and build a 40-foot platform. I want speakers wrapped all around it playing Kabbalah chants. I want CE5 going down in the middle. Hell, we'll have enough money. We can pay Stephen Greer to do it. We'll lift the platform up and we'll have laser lights shining in the sky for days on end. And if nothing shows up then you got your answer. But nope, no one's done that either. That's probably like $1 million at most. Greer's going to cost you $4 million just to be there, but you know what I
mean. we could run the ultimate grift. That's what we got to do. We got to manage these grifters. Like you're leaving money on the table. You know, like
as long as I get to wear a toga, I want to wear a toga. And have to come ask me questions.
I have heard that Brandon Fugel told somebody, and again, this is rumors and speculation, so take from it what you will. But I have heard from several people that Mr. Fugel is eventually going to put a hotel there on the ranch.
Oh, wow. So
that people can come and experience the ranch. But the rooms are going to be like 3 times what a room should cost because you're at the biggest paranormal hotspot in the world.
Well,
so you might see some stuff, you know.
So there's a ranch that's not there's Skinwalker Ranch and there's Mount Wilson Ranch. And Mount Wilson Ranch was owned by Bigelow prior to Skinwalker Ranch. It's owned by a guy named Jeff now. That's when you hear Bigelow of the shaman stories from Bigelow. That's not Skinwalker Ranch. That's Mount Wilson Ranch. And Jeff bought the ranch from Bigelow, like literally from Bass. He had to go to Bass and bought the ranch from Bigelow himself. And I'm going to go there and I'm going to see what it's all about in like a month. And I know how much that costs, so I'll be curious to see what it costs at Skinwalker Ranch, because if it's any more, you know.
Yeah, well, interesting that it's such a profit-driven enterprise. They claim it's about science, but, you know.
Yeah, well, see, when it comes to, like, Mount Wilson Ranch, that's in the middle of nowhere. The dude's trying to run this entire property. That's just normal, you know, like you pay, but it's not even that expensive. Like, the room fees are no more than, like, Holiday Inn, really. It's just like the extra stuff, like, you know, because you're going on a ranch trip. That's normal. But like if just a hotel room is like $3,000, oh shit. Like, I don't know. I ain't heard that before. I'll check on it though. I'll see about that.
Truthseeker says he sells and rents RV spots. I was not aware of that.
At Skinwalker Ranch?
At Skinwalker Ranch.
No, it's next to Skinwalker Ranch where they do that. And then there's Ryan from the SpaceX Wolf Center, but it's not on the property of Skinwalker Ranch. They're both adjacent. SpaceX Wolf Center is to the right, and it takes place on 500 acres that Bigelow used to lease out, and Brandon wasn't able to get a hold of, and then SpaceX went on there. So, and then there's like an RV place, yeah.
And Bigelow had another grifter ranch. Ranch.
I mean, whatever you want to call it, but yeah, it's called Mount Wilson Ranch. If you want to look into it, if you want the true story behind it, check out Carl the Crusher's videos, and he lays it down, and he's the truth about it.
What if we kissed at the Homestead 2 fence where the Dino Beaver was smoking a cigarette? It was a dog man. It wasn't. No, it was definitely a dog man. It was not.
You know, there's the impervious werewolf, and then there's all kinds of stuff. It's the Dino Beaver's a joke.
Skinwalker Cash. Yes. No, it wasn't the Dino Beavers. It was a dog man.
Yeah, it was a bipedal werewolf.
This is my favorite part of the Skinwalkers.
We saw this. Standing on 2 legs, a wolf creature, a wolf standing in her yard, its paws crossed like this, leaning on a tree, staring back at her.
And then, of course, there was the one smoking cigarettes, you know.
Yeah, Newport 100s, man. You know, Karen that had donated earlier, Praise the Cash, she actually sold a pack of Newport 100 menthol cigarettes to an alien in 1975 in Missouri. She's published a Nick Redfern book about it, and I believe every word she said. It was a gray alien wearing a wig. I've talked to her extensively.
The smoking dog.
Come down this dirt road one night, and they see two figures, humanoid-looking figures, standing up with their backs to the road, and looked like they were smoking cigarettes. They had trench coats on. Smoking cigarettes, standing out on the road. These guys figure, what are these fellas up to? So they're pulling up and they go shining their lights on the guys, and they turn around and they were dogs.
Oh,
Do you think that's why you have to offer tobacco?
yeah.
You go to these
Maybe
places.
that's why. Yeah, because the smoking dog
They need
shape-shifting.
that sweet menthol, man.
Maybe they're shape-shifting. Natives that just turn into dogs, and then they like to smoke, so they
That's
still
what James
smoke while they're dogs.
James Keenan is a researcher that's out there a lot, and he has some pretty crazy stories about like these lost tribes of these people that might be shapeshifters. I don't know. It's all crazy. But he's a legit researcher too, so don't know. I mean, the world is crazy. Like you don't have to make up these stories, right? Like the world is already crazy enough. You know, you've had people walk out their porch and there's an 8-foot dog man standing there. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, I saw something crazy, so I can't write it all off. It's not those people that I have the problems with. It's the people that are obviously lying, like George Knapp, and trying to sell his book. That's who I have a problem with.
No, I didn't see the new Darcy Weir film.
Yeah, I
Secret
talked to
Space
Darcy.
UFOs.
I talked to Darcy earlier, and I'm gonna watch it later tonight.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. I'll put it on my list though.
Fast walkers was the best term for UFOs. I wish they had never gotten rid of that because it's such a badass thing to call them. They're fast walkers. Like, all right, dude, let's go. That's awesome.
Yeah, there was another documentary or something called Fast Walkers.
It sure is. I've seen it. Yep.
Before
Haven't
Darcy
seen.
Weir's. Yeah.
Darcy's cool though.
Chupacabra is here. Spooky is going to buy me dinner. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah. Another Twitter Spaces denizen, Chupacabra, is here.
That he is.
What do you think of all this drama though that goes on between some of these characters like Chupacabra and Milk Fart and others?
Oh man.
It's like these guys have been fighting for like months on end, like at each other's throats, and like, isn't that not very healthy for either of them?
Yeah, I definitely say it's not healthy for anybody.
By the way, they were supposed to come here and have their argument out, and neither of them did it. Well, Milk Fart was willing to do it, but Chupacabra, remember Chupacabra, you bailed. You had excuses, so you can message me and we could still do that.
He probably, I mean, he's gone toe to toe with them in my spaces a couple times. I'm like, all right, we're gathered here to be judged before our peers, and they just go at it. But the thing about that is, it's like I've had Joe or King Milk Fart come up in my space and just talk about aliens, and I've had some random dude that thought that was cool with me just block me and start blasting me for letting Joe talk for 10 minutes, and he just talked about aliens. And as far as it goes with the drama, man, I'm at the point now where I didn't come here for that. I don't know. I wasn't here when it started. But I'm here to figure out what happened. So I'm walking down the road, and you can either stay back there and argue with each other, or you can come down the road with me and figure it out together. That's just where I'm at now. I'm just moving forward. I'm friends with a lot of people that hate each other, and it is what it is, man. A lot of good people, man. I wish everybody would calm down and just on the internet. You don't have any way to just settle it. You don't have any way to settle it. It's just not going to happen. So you just eventually just got to and just go on. There's just nothing else you're going to do. It's just going to get into this weird people claiming lawyers and you're harassing me kind of stuff, when all you really just need to do was just block people and just move on. Just move on. Don't DM people about it. Just go on down the road.
I didn't hear about this drama yet. Didn't you guys target Leah Prime to the point where she left the community? Nice one.
Well, I mean, I don't even know Leah Prime, so I definitely did not or have anything to do with that. I've never.
I don't think it was directed at you. That was probably directed at Chupacabra.
I was like, literally never spoken to her. I think I messaged her one time when she had a thread, and I said, "Hi, Leah." That's all I said. So. But yeah, it's like there's a phenomenon here that is taking people out of their homes. It doesn't care what sex you are. It doesn't care what your
apparently not.
Are.
Yeah,
it doesn't care anything about you. It's going to do. It doesn't care what you say you are, what you are. It doesn't care, and that's what I want to know the truth to. And nothing's ever going to come from that if you're all just stabbing each other over and over. It's like, you know what I mean. So like I said, I'm just going to keep going down the road, and you can either come with me or stay back there, and you can catch up later. It's fine.
You seem to be very fair. I notice a lot of people try to take sides. I try to avoid that, but sometimes it's inevitable. You're gonna agree with somebody and disagree with the person that they're beefing with. But I try not to get. It's interesting, because of what we do here. An awful lot of people try to point me like a missile at people they don't like. Do you know what I mean? They're like, you should do a story on this.
What you mean? Yeah.
And I go, well, both of you are kind of, responsible for whatever,
Yeah, I mean, if the story doesn't involve finding out what the hell's going on, then I don't really want anything to do with it. I'm just trying to figure out what's happening. That's what we're all here for, man. A lot of people are trying to figure out what's going on. There's obviously something going on. There's a lot of cool places you can research. The Meadow. Look up the Meadow. That's really cool. It can be, Patty.
Yes, but here's what I will say in defense of UFO Twitter. Like, as somebody that has a show centered around these topics, it is a tremendous tool for promotion.
Oh, dude.
We wouldn't have a show here if not for UFO Twitter. Everything I post is hashtagged so that people that are interested in these topics can find what I'm doing. So there's good and bad in all things, but I am starting to realize, like, I did twice now this has happened. I said, I'm not arguing with nameless, faceless accounts on Twitter. If I don't even know who you are, or like you're some, like UFO Truthseeker 88, with a, like, I'm not going to argue with you for an hour on a Twitter thread. I'm just not going to do it. Yeah, it's useless. So I have gone back to my way of dealing with Twitter is, I see what friends are posting that I like, that I want to hear from, and then everybody else, I just kind of post and ghost my shows. I use it to promote the show, and then sometimes people will say something really nasty, and I fight myself to respond, because then it's going to turn into like,
oh, dude,
I've done it.
I've done it. Uh-oh.
Third phase guy, he just posts fake videos all day. Like, I got a whole thing with him for like a day long. I'm like, this is stupid. Can't even remember the guy's name. I don't even want to give his Twitter handle. Know who it is.
Yeah, probably don't.
But the guy just posts fake video. He posted the freaking Goodyear blimp. That video from like 2 years ago with the Goodyear blimp. And I'm like, I just bust his balls now. I just post like pictures of that kid from The Simpsons, and then I wrote like, I'm posting Goodyear blimp videos. I'm helping disclosure.
We're doing it, man. We're doing it, man. It's lined with metamaterials. Goodyear has the connection to Lockheed Martin for sure. We need to put that stuff on our car wheels. Yeah, it's a joke, man. But when it comes to Twitter, the spaces, especially, like, I jumped into a space with an NFT group called the Fat Rat Mafia, and there's like some of my best friends now, and they love UFOs. And so, like, this whole group of like these NFT guys will come over and chill with us about UFOs, and they start learning the truth. And the truth is that a bunch of this is bullshit. And they'll, a lot of those guys have had nothing to do with this community. They'll think Anunnaki or this or that, and then I'll just give them my information. And then, it's just helping to spread the truth, in my opinion. Like you said,
I agree. And you know what? That's good, because you know how many like people may have casually watched some episodes of Ancient Aliens or something, and they don't know that like Zachariah Sitchin was a joke. He was not qualified to translate anything.
Oh, shit. Yeah, man.
He mistranslated all of it. So, like, wait, all of Ancient Aliens is based on Sitchin, and I always love how they show that channeled book, and they say that the not from the Bhagavad Gita, but what are those things called now? Now I'm blanking. They just carefully craft this narrative of this Ancient Aliens theory with garbage, like Sitchin's bad translations.
Dude, they'll call the Enuma Elish Sumerian, and it's Babylonian. Like, it's ridiculous. They, like,
the Vimanas,
Vimanas. Oh yeah.
They always show that book that's channeled in the 1950s, and they say in an ancient Indian text. No, that's from the 1950s, and somebody channeled that shit. That's not an ancient text.
If you want the actual descriptions of Vimana, they are in there, and they're not like that, though. Yeah, this is like, it's such a joke, man.
Thank you, Chester Ludlow Jr. Oh, but I was saying, it's good that when people come, like these people that are watching it pretty casually, and they just believe it because it's documentary style. It must be true. It's nice when you can peel back those layers of deception and show them, like, this is a carefully constructed garbage narrative that.
Sometimes carefully constructed.
Yeah, sometimes not so carefully constructed.
A lot of times. Yeah,
and Ancient Aliens, the first season, they dropped, maybe the first 2 seasons, they dropped anything that was like evidence of the ancient alien hypothesis. They were done. And then after that, it was like Einstein and ancient aliens. Like, what the hell? Nikola Tesla. This has nothing to do with this. This has nothing to do with this. You know?
Nikola Tesla contacted aliens in 1903. He did. I heard those are radio waves, dog.
Yeah.
Like Nikola Tesla didn't say that. I mean, obviously the government stole all Nikola Tesla's shit. I mean, that's commonplace. But
yeah, and do you know who was the guy who went in and took all the papers for the government?
Trump's
Trump's uncle.
Yeah.
Trump's great uncle. Yeah. That's an interesting part of
Well,
the story.
Trump also traveled through time, didn't he? And then a book on that too, I think.
No, I think that was his son.
Baron von Trump.
Baron von Trump. Yes. Yeah.
Baron von Trump. You will be sent back in time to do absolutely nothing and then come back. Cool.
So do you think that the Skinwalker Ranch kind of television show is kind of replacing Ancient Aliens as far as like alien and paranormal BS? I think so.
That,
it's like supplanting it. Like Ancient Aliens is like their ratings are in the shitter now.
Yeah, because
they're still trying to keep it going, but it's terrible now. So
season 14, they just start doing that roundtable bullshit, and they're just like, and they just rehash the old episodes. It's not even like a new thing because they don't have anything else to talk about. They've been around for 20 years. They just rehash the same. They're like, we're gonna go back and show you all the stuff from the previous episodes. Like, dude, I have Hulu, dog. I can just watch all of it. Like, it's just total garbage. So yeah, in a way, it is 100%. It really sucks though too because I really think that. There's just real people out there on the ranch, man. Those aren't like TV personality other than Travis, which I've never talked to Travis, probably won't ever get to, but they're just real people out there working like Caleb and all them and Chris Bartell. And if Chris Bartell told me everybody out there is just actually looking for the truth, and because I trust him so much, I believe it. And I've talked to all those guys and I believe it. I don't know what's going on out there, but as far as the show's concerned, Prometheus Entertainment isn't going to let, they're going to get into their show to get those ratings up, right? Like, they're not going to just let it fall off the map. History Channel's has a good thing going for years. They're not just going to stop now. No way.
Yeah, I think they're globbing onto the Skinwalker thing because they need a show with big ratings. So that's always going to be one of the factors in that show. And again, the overhype, underdeliver. We've got Brandon Fugel saying, this next season is going to be great. Well, so far, all we got videos of was like bugs and shit. Like, this is not good. This is not looking good for science here.
Well, as long as they dig that mace up, we'll see what's in there at least. If there's nothing there, there's nothing there. But at least they're trying to figure it out. But yeah, the show's going to overemphasize everything. Like the helicopter almost acted like it was almost going to crash like 3 times in the first episode, and we were all laughing our asses off, man. I was in there with the guys from Skinwalker Ranch, and I was like, why is the helicopter going to crash like 3 times? They're like, the damn show. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, and that's so suspect to me because any good helicopter pilot could simulate that. Just pretend that the wind is pushing them around a little bit, and they could make something out of that if they needed content for the show. And that's the thing that people don't understand. Like, it's not just the actors, I call them actors, involved. They've got producers pushing them to create drama. They've got producers pushing them to create so-called evidence or paranormal activity. There's no show if they don't have those things.
Well, they have to go get you and pull you up to the side to stand by some trees and go, well, we were there at the ranch and what we saw was a UFO. You know what I mean? Like, it's, we were out there doing our tests with our 1.6 gigahertz. They're going to get you by that tree to talk about it, right? So it's a show. I have heard that, like, Eric Bard doesn't like the show very much, and he's out the ranch all the time because of that kind of stuff. So, yeah. I mean, but it's a TV show, big-time TV show. I mean, heck, especially now, the ratings are through the freaking roof.
The hillbilly rocketeer, Dr. Taylor. Yes. He did make a rocket out of moonshine.
He sure did.
That's the one thing he did that I liked, Randy, 1979, because I grew up building rockets and I've made a lot of rockets. They call them rocket candy rockets. It's just sugar and stump remover. But making it out of moonshine is a whole nother level. And someday I'm going to try that.
Some malt liquor, baby. Yeah, man, double distill that and just fire it off.
Well, yeah. And listen, we're coming up on the 2 hours here, so we're running out of time. But I want to thank you for being here, and I hope that you're going to come back. Sometimes we have these
anytime
these panel shows where we have different people with different perspective. You're welcome to come back for that or anything else. And we're going to get this Twitter Spaces simulcast kind of thing together.
Did somebody just shout out Praveen Mohan in the comments? Because he is awesome. I agree with that. I do like Praveen. I thought I saw that. Yep, there it is. Could be Beast from the X-Men. Good old Praveen, man. I've been trying to
Yeah.
get him on the show. He's hard to get hold of.
Well, do you have something that you want to plug that's coming up? Or you do these spaces just whenever you feel like it, don't you?
I do, but I do another show with Kimball called UFO Intros, and that's where I get like all the big guests on and stuff like that. And we have like a spaces discussion with them. We'll do like an hour interview, trying to figure out what drives them, what got them to do it, and then we'll open up the floor, and then it will.
Well, you better give your
Twitter.
Twitter handle so that people can find you because you post these things on Twitter. You give your Twitter handle out.
It's not UFO-Shane, unfortunately. It's Turtle of Time 12 at Turtle of Time 12
at Turtle of Time 12 on Twitter. And you don't have like a set schedule for these spaces events, right? You just kind of do them whenever you feel like it.
Yeah, I'm on the cuff, man.
It's kind of annoying. He's like, hey, you got to come and do my spaces. And I'm like, when? Oh, I don't know. Well, great.
Yeah, random and unrecorded.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for being here. This has been a fun conversation, and I look forward to talking to you again, UFO-Shane.
Anytime.
Keep up the good fight, and I'll see you in Twitter Spaces soon.
All right, brother.
All right. Thank you, UFO-Shane, everyone. And I've been meaning to talk to him at length like this for some time, but I thought we'll just do it online, and we'll share it with my friends. And we want to thank Dead Minds Podcast. For kind and generous $10 super chat, who says, if I have learned anything from life, it is this: believe nothing that you hear, only half of what you see, and everything that you feel. Love you, brother. Keep up the good fight. Well, thank you, Dead Minds Podcast, for kindness, generosity, and support. And we're happy to give you a shout out. Shout out to Dead Minds Podcast. Is your podcast available everywhere pods are cast? Let me know in the live chat. We'll give you a shout out for where people can find your podcast. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Heather Birdie is here and says, amazing job, Shane. You killed it. Truthseekers is an awesome show, but you made it way better tonight. Well, thank you for your kindness and support. We've been trying to do this for some time, but always something in the way. I got sick and some other stuff happened. But we want to thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight. We're going to try to keep it under 2 hours tonight. I have some unfortunate computer work to do. I've been trying to get my video editing monsters in order. I have a few of these really old Xeon workstations or servers, former servers, but the time to like work on them and upgrade them and get them really rock solid running for future video projects hasn't been there. I'm trying to get that done. This may be the last show for the week. I'm going to the cabin tomorrow evening, but maybe we'll do something from there just to check in from the cabin. We haven't done that in quite a while. So that's all I got for you tonight, friends. I want to thank all of you kind and generous benefactors, you Twitch subscribers, you Patreon supporters, you channel members, super chatters, PayPal pledgers, super sticker purchasers, and of course you super thanks people. Just know that you can throw money in the hat even if you're watching a replay. And we would like to also thank the MVP of PayPal pledges, of course, which is Sweet Caroline, who says, great show like always. UFO-Shane brings the positive vibes. Got to bring him back soon. A kind of generous $15 PayPal pledge. Thank you, MVP of PayPal pledges, Sweet Caroline. We thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. So we want to thank our chat room moderators. Thanks, Spooky. Thank Mr. Ian, the man with the golden voice. And, of course, thanks to all of you, and especially our guest tonight, UFO-Shane. This is just the first of many conversations we'll probably have, and hopefully we'll bring him back soon. So that's all we got for you, friends. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. Follow me on Twitter at Stephen Cambion to hear announcements of future shows. That's generally the best way to know that we will be live. We're going to try to cut back the schedule a little bit and keep it to 3 live shows and 3 produced videos per week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Should be our usual schedule, but that's always subject to change. The best thing to do, of course, is to follow me on Twitter at Stephen Cambion, and you will know when we're doing a live show. But for now, that's all we got for you, friends. Until next time, my name is Stephen Cambion. Good night, and God bless all of you.